Hello, mates. How are you? Today we're going to discuss about result atom. So what technically it's do is giving for us one more option or one more way to handle optional value. You can use gorlet, you can use iflet, you can just put like the two question marks, exclamation mark. Um, but what if we need something extra, something specific? What if unwrapping value is not enough? What if we handle some complicated case where we want to provide extra error or make the code a little bit more stricted? So today we're going to discuss again about result enum, where you returning data type and you putting there expecting or possible your error case. Um, this is for UI tests, not for unit tests. This is how we writing UI tests. XCUI test, Swift UI test. You can call it whatever you want to. So let's jump into that. Um, so that's what we have. As you see, uh, Mark mentioned that it's before. We also will have after and improvements. So in the beginning, let's say what we have. We have extension for date, and we getting get date range. So for that, we need pass specific date, which is end of date. And you can see it's like sort of not just simple transition from one data type to another. Let's say in the struct by the object, you can see that we have a method, then a verify date range, and we have start date and we have end date, and we need to transform them as it says in the error failed to convert string to date. So we need just transform string to date, which is pretty straightforward operation. By the way, date start subtitle and date end subtitle is just like the string representation. It might be extract from the XCUI element, the label, if it has or contain the date. That's fine. We're good with that. But what happened with date range? Because right now we're using, well, we're smart, right? We're using guardlet. We unwrap it once, and if it's good, then we use it, use it again and again and again. What's the problem here? Because the get date range is not just converting some data type to another data type. This is the process we handle like some comprehensive case. So let's take a look a little bit closer to data range. So this is our data range, right? We need unwrap it, handle it, and then actions, right? Action. Then we do something. Fail to get the range of date. Pretty generic error message, which not like give us like all understanding what happened. And also it's the idea that under the unwrapping that it's some simple operation, which where get date range is not simple operation. We're not converting string to integer, or like the integer to string, or in that case string to data type at the back. It's something extra happens there. So let's think about, what if I want to like have it more strict? What if I want to return success and do specifically something with that, and failure and do specifically something with that, and that will be visible in my code, versus just unwrap everything? Doesn't matter if it's just conversion or is it like whole process. Let's see what I try to say. In this case, we're switching result, in that case optional result, right, from the get date range, where we say, all right, we have success when we get the range date, and you see that the actions move under the success case, and we also have failure case, where we also can do like any comprehensive stuff. Interesting, right? Okay, so let's keep going. That's our extension, where we return optional integer. Simple enough. But we have a calendar that current, we have a calendar that date components, we put their date from self to end day components that date. A lot of things happens here. Let's just handle it by just changing return and adding a little bit more logic to return statement. As you may see, right now we're using result, where we pass integer to return, or date range error. And you see, like, if this exists, we're gonna send them. It's gonna be our success case, and if it's not, we will use calculation failed. Probably gonna ask me where did I get date range error. So it's just adding something like this. It's just an enum with like one error case. So let's go back to page object and see how it looks before. Again, you have Gorlet, where we get date range to end date, and then we use it. So right now we will have something more cooler. We're switching the result, and we say this is success case, and if date range there, do this, and then assertion. And if it not, in that case, print the message failed to calculate date range. So we're failing to calculate that range, and also we can pass the error, which is like pretty much simple, pretty much understandable. So let's think what we have before, and then let me see one more time what we have after. This is like the whole code. We have extension, we have page object. Let's just think a little bit more why I say the operation or the process to getting date range is not that simple, right? So how we can improve that? Date range error. Right now we return only one failed case where it says like calculation failed without without too many details. Let's add more details. Maybe like we can pass start date. Maybe we can pass end date, and maybe we can find out like one more error case in this case. Invalid date order, which is also makes sense. So right now our extension can throw back two error cases, which will help debug code, which will give us like understanding right away what happened. So that's our changes. That's what we did before. And this is the improvements where we say, all right, we are adding one more case. And before we do anything, we're using our lovely guard self, and we say if self, so it's start date, less or equal end date as the problem, right? So improvements logic will looks like that. We have success and we do whatever we want to with success, but then we have a failure where we say calculation failed or invalid date order. So in that case, we will print if something happened or failed the test case for two different things versus just the generic it's failed, go there and find out like why. So that what we did before. Again, that's the whole code. You can see like the start date, get range, success, failure. And now how it looks after improving. So now your UI test case will cover success logic, and again it's pretty visually separated from like any other code. So we see that then verify date range, we get two optional values, we get them like start date and end date, and then we do something with them, and those results can be success or failed. And if it's success, do this, and if it's failure, it might be calculation failed or invalid date order failed. That's it. That's what I want to share with you. So right now, think a bit more about your code. What are you doing? How you build it? This is pretty much unit test approach when you build any logic. Think about how it can be broken. Think about how it might be tested. Even though we are not really test the logic, but still we're providing like the XCT fail and their messages, which will help us debug our code, write our code better, and get some respect from devs. See you later.